Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about all things Real Housewives of New York, and specifically one new bit of information that just came out today. But before we get into that, please subscribe to my channel. Trying to get to 500 subs, so subscribe, help me get there, and let's get into Real Housewives of New York. Now, before I even watched, I've been a little behind on the show recently, but before I even watched the episode from this past week, I woke up and got on Instagram and saw this post from Erin Lichy, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, Erin on the show, and she announced that she is pregnant with her and Abe's fourth child. Now, if you saw my video last week about the Real Housewives of New York, you know I talked about I talked a lot about Uba and Brynn and their fight, but at the end I did bring up this fight between Erin and Jenna and why I thought it was kind of fishy. And the reason being is that the first person that Jenna heard about this argument from was Abe. And I raised a question as to why does Abe know when you claim you're kind of on the rocks with him and you're not, like, because of this Bitcoin situation, you are upset at him and you don't feel like you trust him, etc., etc. So why does he know about this know about your, like, deep feelings about you and Jenna when you feel like you can't trust him, but you're amicable, you're going to parties together, you have a Mezcal brand. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 here. I don't know, it just feels a little fishy and it's feeling a little phony. To me, it's like one of two things. After this baby announcement, I'm like, one, either this fight or argument or discourse between Erin and Abe is slightly manufactured. She could have been maybe a little upset about the Bitcoin thing. However, I feel like it's being played up for TV. And with this baby announcement, it's really making me feel like, is this argument just for TV? Because that's how it's starting to feel. Or is this baby announcement a little bit of a band-aid over what you guys have been going through? I don't know, I can't decide yet. I feel like I'm leaning towards the fight, at least on TV, is a little manufactured. Granted, it is reality TV, sometimes you gotta play stuff up for the cameras. But I don't know, it's making me feel like Erin is a little phony. And I hate to say that because I did like her, but I don't know, her and Brynn this season are really making me feel like this is all kind of an act. It just feels a little forced. Not to mention, then I actually watched the episode this week, and then they're launching their Mezcal brand, which Erin did make a video about this and kind of made light of it because I think she knew what she said was kind of like a little ignorant. But she straight up, when they're talking about their Mezcal brand, was that they went to Mexico, I believe, and they met somebody there who had told them, like, she said like 10 years ago or something, that they had gone to Mexico, met some guy who said, well, tequila is like the poor man's drink and Mezcal is like what actual like Mexicans drink, I guess, or something to that effect. And then she goes on to say, insinuating that she is the one bringing Mezcal to the American marketplace. Honey, I'm sorry, you're not the first Mezcal to exist in the United States of America. I'm sorry. But she made a little TikTok kind of making fun of it with that song that's going around of like, and then I go and say something stupid like, and then it's the clip of her saying that. So I was like, at least there's some self-awareness there, because it was very cringe when I heard that. I was like, you are not the one bringing Mezcal to the American marketplace. I've heard about, and I know they're not the first, I'm not trying to claim they're the first, but even Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, who they've been going around and marketing their Mezcal as well in the past couple years. Like, they came to Nashville and marketed it to a bunch of bars and stuff like that. Like, Mezcal is not something you brought to the marketplace. And then, not to mention, if you had heard about this like 10 years ago, supposedly, and let's say there was a hole in the market that you saw for Mezcal in the US, why didn't you do it 10 years ago? I don't understand, like, why are you just now doing this 10 years later when Mezcal is already like a popular spirit in the US? I don't know, it's just, I was like, don't even try to fake like you're the one bringing Mezcal to the marketplace. Just putting that out there, just putting that. It was just a little, I'm like, Erin, you better stop right now, because I just can't. I can't. Having watched Real Housewives for so long, like, we've really seen couples on the show like really get into it and argue, and even like watching Jessel and Pavit this episode specifically, I'm like, they are truly like on the rise. Like there is like, they need to work their shit out. But with Abe and Erin, it's like, I just don't feel like this argument or fight is like, you might have been upset, but like I feel like you're over it. Like I feel like we're moved on. To keep manufacturing and making it out like you're still upset at him, I'm just like, I don't believe it. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't believe it. I think it's manufactured. Another question that this brought up that I saw people commenting also on Erin's post was that there was some insinuation in the trailer of this season that somebody found out they were pregnant or somebody had gotten pregnant, whatever. It was very like vague. We didn't know who they were talking about. I rewatched the trailer actually to kind of jog my memory about it. I do feel like it is pointed at Rebecca Minkoff. Like I do think it is about her, just based on the trailer and what we know now. And I'll get into that in a second. But a lot of people were commenting on Erin's post about how they thought that she had basically already like exposed this storyline in the show through this collab post with People magazine about her pregnancy. And she did respond and comment to somebody saying, no, it's not about me, it's about somebody else. So I do think it's about Rebecca Minkoff. Also, I rewatched the trailer, like I said, and they did mention at one point in the trailer that, I think it was Erin who said in the trailer that, it was like, oh yeah, that's why she's not drinking. Who else has not been drinking? Like I said in my video last week, Brynn was really, really pushing Rebecca to drink at these parties, and it seems like the signs are pointing towards her. We'll see about that, but Erin's claiming it is not about her. It sounds like she only really recently found out about her being pregnant. She seems not very far along, like maybe 5 months. So I don't know if it says specifically. I also thought it was a little awkward when they pointed out at the end of the episode this week that their business partner with their Mezcal is apparently some guy who Erin like used to be in a relationship or something. I was like, oh, and then he made a joke too, the guy who was speaking about like being their like marriage counselor or something. I was like, oh my God, that's really weird. That's really weird if you like had a relationship with that guy. And then now he's joking about like being your business partner and being, you know, your marriage counselor. I was like, that's a bit uncomfortable, but I think the only other thing that I wanted to bring up was the Jessel and Pavit situation, which I briefly touched on, but I just really think they're not in a good place. Like, I just don't believe that they really like each other either. I don't know. It's hard. Like, it's hard to watch scenes where Jessel's trying to talk to him about having another kid. In my head, even though I'm like not a super big fan of Jessel, I'm like, girl, you need to divorce this man and have that baby yourself, because he is never going to agree to having this girl. And if you really feel like you're going to regret it, then like you need to say bye. And I don't think all of these other things, like a lot of people I know last season were saying like, oh, Pavit's like definitely cheating on her or whatever. I'm like, I don't think Pavit like wants to be in a relationship with somebody. And I will say on the flip side, it was very obvious too that Jessel has some issues. Like they definitely have issues in their marriage, like that they don't communicate about. She clearly is not listening to him, and he's just sort of checked out of the relationship. And that is not a good place to be. So they've got a lot of issues to work out. God help them. But it's rough. It's like painful to watch like the scenes with them. It's like, I feel like they are genuinely like putting their shit out there. The last thing that I've been seeing that I've been kind of shocked and I don't fully understand, because I feel like Real Housewives of New York is the show I've been paying the most attention to. The other ones have kind of lost my interest, but I've seen a lot of people say that like they're really hating the reboot this season and they're really over the cast and stuff like that. And I really like, if you guys feel that way, like let me know in the comments, because I don't understand, because honestly it's like one of my favorite Housewives franchises right now. I don't know, people were just, they've been hating on the new season, so I don't know. I also feel like the sophomore season or the sophomore season for any cast member or any show is usually pretty tough, because if the expectations are really high the first season, that second season doesn't deliver in the same way. It's people just are like, I'm over it. They don't care anymore. So I'm giving it some grace. I like it personally. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching. And we'll see what happens with Abe, Erin, Brynn, and Uba, and yeah, so thanks for watching. Bye.